Hello and welcome to University Television Presents. My name is Ashley Cox and I am your host today. Joining us, we have two representatives from the Boise State University's Space Broncos. Leigh Dufurrena, she is a professor for the Space Broncos, and then we have Camille Eddy, and she is a student involved with the Space Broncos. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ashley.
So Leigh, first question for you. So can you explain your role as a professor and the duties you have involved with Space Broncos?
Absolutely. It's an honor to have the title of co-professor of record, which was appointed to me by Barbara Morgan, who is a former astronaut. When we were approached by this opportunity last semester with NASA to do several projects with them, we then went to the College of Social Sciences and Public Affairs to see if we could actually turn this into a class so that the students that we were working with were able to get credit for all of the work that they're putting into everything this semester.
Fantastic. And then Camille, you're a student. Can you tell us your class status and then also your major and what led you to this pathway?
I'm a freshman. My major is mechanical engineering. I worked the previous summer with Idaho Science and Aerospace Scholars, working on their social media. So that presence on social media is what got me this position. I got an email my very first semester here saying that, would you like to work with Barbara Morgan on a panel? I was like, yes, definitely. So here I am.
That's fantastic. So, as you mentioned, Space Broncos is now a class, and so is it any student that can be involved with Space Broncos, or do they have to be involved in a specific program?
Well, it's an interdisciplinary group of students. We reached out to the colleges across the campus and asked the deans to list a number of students who they think would be a good fit for the class. We were specifically looking for people who had social media or digital skills, as this is a very social media driven class and project that we're working on. And also we were looking for students who have strong leadership skills.
Fantastic. And then how did each of you, Camille, you said that you were involved because you got an email. So Leigh, how did you get involved? Were you just asked and that's how it came about?
Well, what's interesting, I handle the social media and the digital content for the university as part of my professional position here. And so in promoting a lot of the things that we have going on at the university in partnership with NASA, whether that's research projects or unique things with students like Microgravity University, I started incorporating the hashtag Space Broncos and tagging NASA in all of our posts, as well as creating content that talked about Space Broncos sort of as an umbrella concept to promote all of these ideas. And that's sort of where Space Broncos was born, was the storytelling part of promoting all of the wonderful opportunities that we have here on campus.
Fantastic. So how is Space Broncos involved in the community, either locally or nationally?
Well, Space Broncos, is pretty broad. There's a number of different professors and groups who are involved with different projects with NASA. Specifically for this class, we've been engaging with the community. We were at STEM Exploration event earlier in February, which is hosted by the College of Arts and Sciences and Engineering. More than 5,000 students and parents and families attended the event, and we were able to do some demonstrations with them that were really fun and engage with them. And we have been doing something called Ask an Astronaut, where we're asking the community to give us questions that we can ask astronaut Steve Swanson.
Fantastic. Anything that you've been involved in recently since you are a freshman here new to Space Broncos?
We're planning some cool engagements soon to engage more in the community, particularly middle school kids that maybe haven't set their hearts on engineering or even NASA, and to let them know that there are other opportunities with NASA. You don't have to just be a scientist or engineer to get involved. So we really want to stress that as we go forward and and let people know about Space Broncos.
That's awesome.
One of the unique things that we've been doing are field trips, and we recently visited the Trey McIntyre project in studio as they were doing a rehearsal for their upcoming performance. And it was just really incredible for some of us who are more on the STEM side of our academics, and some of us who are more, Bachelor of Arts, to see how the dancers took instruction from Trey McIntyre, from his choreography, and then to talk with them about, the science and art behind dance. It was really, really, I think, an incredible experience for all of us, very creative, and it definitely opened up our eyes to, many of how disciplines interact with each other. So we're hoping to do more things like that.
Perfect. And then for our viewers, can you just clarify what STEM is actually?
Oh, absolutely. STEM is, actually, I'll let our STEM student explain that.
Sure, yeah. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Fantastic.
And when you hear that around campus, they like to say, develop your STEM community, get some friends, and really they're just saying find other kids that are in the like disciplines, like science, technology, engineering, mathematics, build those bridges and make connections.
Awesome, that's great. So I guess this could apply to both of you, but mainly Camille, since you are the student involved. So everything that you've learned so far, how have you been able to apply what you've learned in the classroom to Space Broncos and opportunities that it brings?
Yeah, definitely. Growing up, I decided to become an engineer really early, and that was partly because I didn't really lean towards the sides of liberal arts and some of the other disciplines that aren't so geared towards engineering and science. So being in Space Broncos is an interdisciplinary team, so there's all these other different degrees I'm working with, and looking at it from other points of view has really helped me go into classroom, like my English class, or even my graphics class, where I have to design little parts. It's allowing me to see things from other perspectives, which I think is probably healthy, so I can reach a broader range of audience and be able to reach more people.
That's awesome, thank you. And then you mentioned that you, as Space Broncos, you have a relationship with NASA, which that is kind of a big deal. It's not something that's just taken lightly. Right. So can you explain that relationship, and are there any other universities around the nation working with them, or is it just you guys?
There's a lot of, NASA does a lot of educational engagement, a lot. Whether that's K through 12 education or working with undergrad and graduate students. So just here on campus, we have dozens of students who are engaged with NASA at some level on research projects or other programs. Specifically for this class, we have a Skype session with a representative from NASA at the Johnson Space Laboratory every other Monday. So during that session, we learn, some different things about NASA, but mainly what we are doing is planning the rest of our semester out. I'll let Camille talk about the EPO demos that we've been working on, but we've also got a large opportunity. This is an incredible opportunity for a university. NASA does, they coordinate with normally K through 12 students in schools to do these downlinks with a space station where astronauts are speaking, kind of like an interview session like this, but it's with students at a school and then from the space station. And so we're doing that here on campus on May 6th. But they don't do that with universities very often, and so it's really a rare opportunity for us and one that we definitely jumped on. So there's a lot of planning involved in that. But go ahead and talk about the EPO demos that we're doing.
Right, yeah, so it's really fun. EPO is basically, it's talking about an educational video that you might have seen on YouTube or anything, talking about different effects or physics or science, things that happen in space, and an astronaut will go through and demonstrate some property and make it easier for kids to understand. And what we wanted to do, we wanted to take a take where, because they usually do videos for K through 12, we wanted to put one on a more college level. And so what we actually do is we write a script and tell them what we want them to say and like how we want them to demonstrate it. And what we're working on right now is a sustainability demonstration, talking about the sustainability around the space station and also angular momentum. So it's more like a physics demonstration about how angular momentum works in space. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of last semester, during one of the football games, the Space Broncos were actually acknowledged at a media timeout, right. And they brought a little, I think it was called Grover onto the blue. And so can you explain kind of that project and everything that went on with that?
So Grover, which stands for Greenland Rover, and rover is a term that NASA uses for many of their mobile robot units that they have, similar to the one that they have on Mars right now, Curiosity, who's doing a lot of photography and mapping out the landscape of Mars and sending the data back to Earth. So our research students, both of our graduate students who were on this project, there's Mark Robertson, he's a geophysics student, and Gabrielle Triska, who is a computer science student. Both of them are graduate students. So they had this NASA funding to put together this robot, and they went up to Greenland to test it out. And part of the project, besides the robot went out. It's solar powered, by the way. That's why it's shaped like an A-frame. Those are solar panels.
Oh, okay.
So they took it up to Greenland. They tested it out, and with a computer program on it that does, I believe it's snow melt measurement.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just one of the many, many things that we have going on here at Boise State with NASA.
So was Grover ever used in other research besides just Greenland, or is it just something that the Space Broncos have built and then bigger and better things are to come?
They have tested Grover out at, I believe, in Massachusetts, and then I think that they're also using it up at Bogus Basin right now for some research that we have that's funded by NASA and a couple of other organizations right now.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And so the graduate students that worked on this project, so obviously they've been involved with Space Broncos before, but what is their role as a graduate student? How are they involved specifically with the undergraduate students?
Well, although the graduate students who were involved in this NASA research aren't directly linked to the course that we're doing this semester, we are reaching out to them and some of their colleagues on campus who are also doing NASA research to do 15-minute TED-style talks before or after our downlink with the space station.
Okay, awesome. And so, as you mentioned, NASA does a lot of funding for you guys. Do you also have other organizations that fund this program, and does that leave any limitations to you guys as well?
Most of the projects that are happening here on campus are funded either through NASA, the National Science Foundation, EPSCoR, or some of the other places where we get a lot of grant funding from. This course, we're hoping that we get funding from all of the colleges that are represented with students, and we'll just see where that goes. Pretty much we've just been winging it. Everything's happened so fast ever since NASA approached us last fall. So.
Fantastic. So with this funding, does that, depending on how much you get, does that leeway the different opportunities that come? Do you have to pass them up? Are you able to take more on, or does the funding help a lot in those areas?
As far as the research that's happening here on campus, yes, funding is very important, as is any type of funding for any NASA project. As far as our class, you know, we're able to get by, you know, and on a very small budget. It's going to be our large event in May. That's going to cost, I think, some money. But other than that, you know, the Microgravity University team, they get a lot of funding from the College of Engineering, and I'm sure, you know, from some other community organizations. But most of that is funding through NASA's Education Office. There's a program called the Reduced Gravity Flight Education I don't remember the complete acronym, but so they focus just on what the Microgravity University students are doing, and there are 18 teams from different universities across the nation who are part of that program. Awesome. And Boise State is one of them again this year. So Fantastic. This is our 6th time to be involved.
Fantastic. So how long has Microgravity University been around since you brought that up?
I believe that they've been at least trying to be a part of the program since 2007. They don't make it every year. So NASA selects only a specific few universities every year, but we've been selected this is our 6th year since the program began.
Fantastic. And then looking online and doing a little bit of research with this Microgravity University, there is a submitted proposal that the research team is doing. Camille, are you a part of that? Do you know anything about that?
No, I'm not a part of the team, but I do know a little bit about what they're doing.
Not yet. She will.
One day.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So right now they're working on the spinal fluid that changes and puts more pressure on, more intracranial pressure on the head when they're up in space. So it's actually a critical problem for astronauts because astronauts are starting to report eyesight trouble when they come back down, and their eyesight's diminished. So it's actually a pretty critical problem that they're actually addressing, which is pretty exciting. Yeah. So they're just seeing how they can help and alleviate those issues right there. So
that is so interesting.
Yeah.
I've never known. That's fantastic.
So to test some of those ideas, I mean, they have to be able to test those in a reduced gravity situation, which is what they do with Microgravity University. They go up into something that's called the nickname is the Vomit Comet, but it is this zero gravity plane that just flies up and down more or less, and as you know, the plane is dipping and diving, you'll see like the students sort of floating around, and it looks like weightlessness. While some of the students are floating around and having fun and experiencing that reduced gravity, others are working on computers and different systems and testing in these seconds that they have available to see whether or not their concepts are working.
Wow. So that plane, the people involved, do they have to travel somewhere else to go, or is there one here in Idaho?
No, there's only one. I believe it's in Texas. I believe it's, if not at the Johnson Space Center, that it is around there somewhere. It might be Florida, actually. I don't know off the top of my head. Do you? Okay.
And then I have a question about social media, since you did mention social media is kind of a big deal. So it's starting to incorporate something called Team Swanson. Right. Can you elaborate on what Team Swanson is?
So when NASA approached us about these opportunities, one of them was doing this downlink with astronaut Steve Swanson. And I'll let you fill in the rest because it's so exciting.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're organizing this big event that we want to get the whole campus engaged in. It's going to be in May 6th, and we're trying to put together a space symposium, basically. And it's going to be centered around the downlink. So the downlink, we'll be talking with Captain Swanson while he's in the space station, which is pretty exciting. We'll be talking back and forth. We'll be able to ask him some questions. He'll be able to do that educational video, one of them for us while we're in that. So the theme of it is sustainability and innovation, what NASA has influenced in that direction. And we hope to have a big turnout, and it should be pretty fun.
You'll notice, in popular culture and social media, within the past couple of years, NASA has really upped the game with promoting what it is exactly that they do and how they connect more to the public. And they're able to do that with social media. And I think that's part of what this class is all about. We're able to connect with the campus about these NASA projects that we might not have been able to connect with on this level before. So it's really a lot of fun, and that's why we're using social media.
It's a great tool to utilize. That's awesome that two can be combined into something awesome. Right. So you mentioned a big event in May, and then I believe it's called Space Symposium. Can you tell us about that and how big this is for the Space Broncos?
This is huge. This is huge for Idaho. This is huge for the campus community. Like I said, that we are hoping to do 15-minute TED-style talks. We're hoping before and after the downlink from the space station. And we're really trying to focus on some of those NASA research and other NASA projects, so we'll be able to showcase some of the other things that are happening here at Boise State. But the Space Broncos class, the students are actually planning all of this and promoting all of it and putting it all together. So
fantastic.
It's a lot of fun. It's hard work too.
I bet. Hopefully it will all pay off.
Right,
So
right.
we still got a little ways to go.
So this will be
exciting.
aired here on campus, the live down link on screens at the event, but also on NASA television.
Wow.
So it's really an international event.
Wow, that's fantastic. So Camille, question for you, since you're so involved and you're so passionate about space and engineering and all that, where do you see this involvement taking you in the future career-wise? Like, what are your ambitions and how do you think you're going to get there?
Yeah, I definitely would love to work with NASA one day. That's my dream. I really see this helping me develop my leadership skills and also presenting in front of people. I really like presenting science experiments and engaging the community, and inspiring other students as I've been inspired. Because all through high school, I came to Boise State and the College of Engineering. They had great programs that got me excited about science. And I see how that's important for other students and girls especially to come out and get engaged in science and engineering. And so I definitely think this will help me up my game in supporting students from all different backgrounds in the STEM careers. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And it's nice that you're starting out so strong too. So congrats on that. You mentioned that there is a professor here. I'm not quite sure exactly which department she's from, but can you tell us a little bit about her and her experience as an astronaut?
Sure. So Barbara Morgan is a former astronaut with NASA, and she is a educator in residence here at Boise State, and she's through the Department of Research. So she doesn't teach any classes besides the Space Broncos this semester. However, she sometimes will be involved with other classes or teach one-on-one. She does a lot of community involvement, a lot of these programs through the STEM station and the College of Engineering. And actually, recently there was an elementary school named after her in Meridian. Oh. So it's the Barbara Morgan STEM Academy, actually.
That's fantastic.
And do you want to talk a little bit about Barbara's background, maybe? How she became, a NASA astronaut?
Yeah, so was it the Challenger accident? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Barbara Morgan was actually the backup teacher, and there was a crew selected to go up in Challenger, and
I believe that was 1987.
Yeah,
right around
yeah, and then they pooled a very large number of people for teachers to come up to space and be teachers in space.
It was the first teacher in space program.
Yeah, Wow. And so Barbara Morgan was actually the backup teacher. And unfortunately, that flight where the primary teacher went up, that was a Challenger accident. And so it took years and years, but 2006, Barbara actually got to go up to space and in her place. So that was great.
Right. So Barbara Morgan, when she was actually up in the space station, I don't remember which mission it was, 18 maybe? She'll tell me afterward. She was actually, this was still, every time somebody, goes up to the space station, they're continually building on it. The space station is always getting upgrades and getting a little bit larger. And so a lot of what they did was take equipment up with them and build things up. So,
wow. Yeah. That's amazing. Has Barbara Morgan, has she always been in Boise, Idaho, or is she
Not always. She's from California originally. She was a teacher in McCall, Idaho, and then after her career at NASA, she came to Boise State. So
fantastic.
We're very lucky to have her.
Yes.
She's an incredible mentor. So.
Definitely. So about how many students are involved with the Space Broncos?
There's about a dozen.
A dozen.
The important thing they want to leave the audience with is about space science.
And then is there anything that has caught your eye about this program, and especially, Camille, you can answer one specifically about what intrigues you about space the most?
Wow, yeah. What really intrigues me is that it's really the final frontier. There's not a whole lot that we know about it. There's so much out there that we don't know. And I really want to go out there and find something new and incredible, because I'm sure it's just out there waiting to be discovered, and I'm really excited for that.
Fantastic.
You know, I'd have to agree with that. When I was a student here at Boise State, I was with a group of students, and we started the astronomy club called the Black Holes. That was quite a, some time ago. So I've also always been fascinated with space, and especially recently seeing how NASA and other space organizations across the world are utilizing communication to really express what it is that they're doing and getting more people involved with it.
Can get involved if somebody likes to be in the program.
So as you said earlier, let's see if we can get, is there any way for students to be involved besides being selected by their colleges? Are they able to volunteer at events, help out with any campaigns or community things that you guys may do?
Absolutely. We're trying to do a lot of campus engagement. So we are reaching out to students and their professors to help us put together questions that we would like to ask Steve Swanson during the downlink. We're also looking for folks who can help promote not just the May 6th event, but all of the things that Space Broncos are doing here on campus, whether that's Rover research or research up at Bogus Basin, or some of the other amazing things here on campus. When Microgravity U goes on their flight this summer, it would be great to have the campus community cheer them on and really rally for them. So there's a lot of opportunities. We're not sure whether this class will be offered again.
Okay.
It just depends on the continued relationship with NASA, and we'll just see where things go. But there's always different opportunities that students can get engaged with, and they can reach out to the current, Space Broncos from this class, or College of Engineering, the STEM Center, Barbara Morgan. There's so many different, opportunities here on campus for them.
Fantastic. Well, Leigh and Camille, I thank you guys so much for being here. I know I personally learned a lot, but thank you so much for your insight and taking the time out to be with us today. We really appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Good. Glad you enjoyed it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to UTP Presents. My name is Ashley Cox, and we'll see you next time.